thought about bringing two presents to everybody, one of which would be a quiz, but I decided that Career Fair Day probably had enough stress associated with it without a quiz, so no quiz today. That does increase the odds of quizzes in the future. So,
just like, you know, like, I should have went one pass them on. I was thinking about going to stop by.
Once it gets to the back, please check to see if there's somebody on one side or the other who doesn't have any and pass it in that direction. So I am shuffling these. I have a couple of quick observations from the capstone. I noticed that many of the companies that were not so much in the black last time are now in the black, and no emergency loans. We're seeing some interesting moves in there, but for a change of pace, I'm going to not ask you to highlight those. Unless you did not go to the event last night and also did not go to the career fair today, and therefore have nothing to say about your positive experiences with either one. By the end of the semester, I think you guys are going to see me try to actually drink out of this, but not today. If you went to one or the other, I would like to hear briefly about the most positive experience you had about the one or the other. If you had absolutely no positive experience or nothing worth relating, and there was a negative experience at one or the other, I'll take that. If you have nothing at all to say about that, like because you didn't go, I'd like to first hear why you didn't go, and then second, now I warned you about that on Monday, right? I didn't tell you. If I'm asking, I asked if anybody on Monday had a good excuse not to go. Nobody had one then. So if you didn't go, I'd like to know what the reason is. But then I'd also, in that case, I will ask you to comment on something about the simulation, something that you've noticed there, beyond the points that I've already made. And it's harder to shuffle pieces of paper than cards, but I have shuffled these since last time. We have Christopher, you're first.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I don't know, I think it was okay. I went yesterday. I had a class until 5, so I kind of went on the later side. So there were a few companies that were pretty good, like within my major of accounting. So
Okay.
I thought it was okay, but I don't know.
Now, has the accounting career fair for this semester happened yet?
No.
No. Okay.
So,
You know about the accounting career fair, right? Other people around you are nodding like, yes, we know about it.
yeah.
Like, why doesn't he know about it? We don't know why he doesn't know about it, but we do know about it. Okay, so what was that?
It's in spring.
It's yeah, so it's in spring.
Yeah.
So it's coming.
I have to careful. Yeah, it's coming.
Okay, what's that?
The accounting career fair
Yeah.
is really in fall semester.
I thought there was one in spring semester too, no? Just the fall. Okay. So no semester, no accounting career fair for you this semester.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But so you did get a chance to connect with some accounting companies.
Yeah. Yeah, a few, but the only thing is like some of it wasn't like accounting based, so that's why I would say not that good, I guess.
So some of the accounting people there were looking for non-accountants?
Yeah, that's so
Interesting.
yeah.
Do you know if any non-accountants actually try to speak to them? Because it'd be kind of funny, you know? All the marketing majors are like, oh, accounting people, they don't want me.
Yeah.
And the accounting people are like, well, what about my marketing people? That would have been kind of a funny thing. So do you know if any non-accounting people actually talk to them about those positions?
Not exactly, no, yeah, no.
Well, my understanding is that typically they, there's like this whole system where they come in for the accounting fair, for accounting people.
Yeah,
And then for the career fair, it's like they had their own special thing for the accounting people, so now they're here for the other stuff a little bit. Okay, but still, you've got a chance to network with some people there, and hopefully it'll work
yeah,
out.
business card, yeah.
Oh, cool. Follow up, keep us posted.
Yeah.
Kathleen.
Not here.
Okay. I hope she is networking busily away at the career fair right now. Nadia.
Today, but most of the companies I feel they are looking for engineering more than business.
If you'd gone yesterday, this would not be
Yeah, I
the
was gonna
case.
say that too.
But carry on.
For today, most of them do software engineering, and I applied for. I tried to apply for Wegmans and MNT Bank, and
Okay.
yeah.
You didn't apply at the career fair for these jobs, right? Were you trying to apply at the career fair for the jobs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did it work?
I don't know. I give them my resume. And,
Okay. I think you should also try going to their websites and applying online. Okay. Sandy?
I went both days, but I think I had a positive experience today because I met, well, I visited a company that has a similar class, and the guy remembered me, which is good, and that helps to connect me to an open position in one of their offices, possibly.
Oh, nice. Good luck with that, and please keep us posted. Yeah, former student stopped by my office today, and I asked him about it. And he actually had the reverse experience. He had a really good experience last night with somebody who he thought would be a good fit for the company. And then he went to the career fair this morning and was going to follow up with the guy. Couldn't find him before he had to leave. So he left, went to classes, stopped by to see my office, and then he went to back to try again to find the guy's company today. He also said that he wound up interviewing for a job that he didn't want just for the practice, and that it started off looking like a job where it was kind of a high-tech company, and he might be doing some sort of, he's an MIS major, some sort of systems control type stuff, which is not exactly what our MIS majors usually do. But then the longer the interview went on, the more it seemed like the guy wanted to do a sales job. And so he was like, yeah, smiled and nodded his way through the interview, and it's just like, that was good practice. Now I'm going to go find somebody I actually want to interview with. Interview with him for real. Ian.
All right. I actually did not go to either, so I have a couple reasons. One, I did already accept the full-time. I've had plenty of work to do the past couple days, so.
Sorry about the second one.
So I guess I'm going to talk about the round, right? So I think in round 2 we saw a lot more of other people's strategies kind of coming to light. I've kind of been able to see which each team was kind of going toward. Team E introduced a new product, I believe. So a lot of interesting things there. A lot more to take into consideration now with the other teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody's paying attention to what everybody else is doing pretty well now, which is good. Shakira?
Okay, so I actually moved out there. Yesterday was just pretty much other one being that I am very focused on going to grad school. I don't plan on working around that time. However, I do have an offer on the table from my current place where I enjoy myself, possibility is great. But if that doesn't pan out, it wouldn't be anything I'm sad about because I don't want to work on it.
Okay. Saeed?
Yeah, I attended both, and just had a few comments actually. Today it seemed like most of the companies were hiring like computer science and engineering majors, and the event itself wasn't really organized because like the career fair app said that like some companies hired like international students, but then I went to the career fair and then I realized that they only hire U.S. citizens, and it was kind of funny to observe their face expression change when I'm describing my work experience, and they seem like really interested. I give them highlights on my academic experience here at RIT, and then they're asking about my work status. I'm telling them that I'm an F1 student, and then they're like, oh, okay.
To be fair, a couple of years ago, a lot of those companies probably were actually helping more people with visas. It's getting harder to do that.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a political regime. Maybe it affects it. Because like Trump is most like anti-immigration.
And at this point, I have to stop talking because otherwise we're going to spend a lot of time talking about politics. That's not what we're here for. Paige. Yeah. Joe.
So I went to the career fair today. I already have a full-time position, but I just kind of went so I have something to talk about in this class and just for practice, I guess.
Did you, I mean, given what I know about your career plans, talking to a lot of people who are at least mid-level of businesses and have other benefits.
So that's where this is going. I was walking around a lot of these popular companies with the really big B2C, very huge companies, but I was going to some of the smaller companies. I looked a little lonely, just talking, and most of them didn't have marketing work or weren't ready to talk about it. But Rochester Precision Optics, I was talking to them, and they asked me, what's my position coming up, and I said, I'm going to be a marketing consultant a little bit, but I'm working for a sales consulting company, this and that, and they sounded that they were just asking about our offering, sounded interesting, so exchange contact information, hopefully win some business out of it.
Okay. Was it the CEO of the company or somebody else?
No, it was somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I met the CEO of the company at a party a couple of years back, and he was telling me some of his stories about how he'd gotten the company to where it is and how he won this contract and stuff like that. It's been a few years, so I'm a little hazy, but the name, I think that's the same name.
Okay.
And I feel like, he didn't really, it wasn't exactly confidential, but especially since I'm not quite sure it's the right company. But if it is the same CEO, then I can see how your expertise could actually be helpful to moving forward into some new marketing. So, good luck.
So we'll see if anything's out of that or not. But
Yeah, I mean, I assume you're going to follow up before this match is over. So,
Yeah.
let me know.
Okay.
Kim is not here, so I won't ask her to say anything. Abdullah.
Actually, I already have a job back home.
Mm-hmm.
They're the one who sent me here.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
And then I have to go back and work with them for at least 5 years. And then,
Which sounds like a lot, except they've been giving you money for 5 years already, so it's
not a lot.
it's not that right.
Yeah, it's in the same city that I'm from, so I mean, it's a good thing.
You get to go back home, you've got a nice job waiting for you, not a lot of stress associated with your job situation after you graduate because you've known all along you're going to go work for them. I knew a guy from Malaysia many years ago who had a similar situation to yours, except that they didn't send him to a co-op school. I was teaching at Indiana University's Kelley School of Business at the time, and no co-ops were required. And in fact, they didn't want him to do anything that would distract him from his schoolwork. So what they did was they picked this guy because he had a really good GPA in high school, and they sent him off to America to get a college degree, business education kind of thing. And they paid his tuition. And, Indiana University is a state school, sure, but if you're out of state, out of country, then tuition is pretty expensive anyway. So they paid his tuition, and they gave him a stipend. And I do not know what the stipend was, but I know that he bought himself a car, and he bought himself a house. And he was able to throw well-attended parties on a regular basis, and without any actual work happening other than schoolwork. And he was very good with his schoolwork. I met him because he took my class, and I believe he had something close to 4.0 GPA coming into the class. Of course, I did some damage to that by the time he graduated, but only one class. How much damage can you do to a GPA? Anyway, my point is, after he graduated, he stayed in touch. And he went back to the company with a similar sort of arrangement. He had to work there for a number of years. And so there he is, he's 22. He has never worked a job. I mean, he's never even been a babysitter. He has never done something in exchange for money ever, except go to school. So he walks in, the company has 300 employees. No, I'm sorry, the company has, I forget how many employees, but he's put in charge of 300 employees. His first day on the job, he is managing 300 people. He has 6 people reporting to him, like managers a level lower than him. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to Malaysia, but I'm kind of picking a guy who's not from Malaysia and randomly asking if he's been to Malaysia. The odds are low. I will tell you that in Malaysia, their culture is a little bit more likely to, it includes a little bit more of the idea of respecting your elders than in this culture. All of his employees were older than him. The managers, those 6 people who reported to him, all had kids older than him. Before he came back, the managers reported directly to the CEO. Now they reported to him, and then he reported to the CEO. What else? Nobody else in the whole company had finished high school. He was the only person with more education than like 8th grade. How do you think he did?
What?
How do you think he did?
I think he did good.
I think you're an optimist.
I think he was probably pretty lost.
Yeah.
That he probably didn't know what to do.
He was a smart guy, but he let me know after a few months that things had not been going well for him. And that's when I found out the specifics of the job. So it turned out that once he started, his managers, instead of actually managing people, would largely do things like they'd come in an hour late, sit around the office for a while, and then they'd take a lunch. And then all go to lunch together. And they'd stay at lunch for like 3 hours. And then they'd come wandering back, maybe, stop off at the store to pick up some groceries to take home at the end of the day before they came back from lunch. Show up, maybe 4 hours late from lunch. After 4 hours of lunch, they come back, say a few words to a few people out there on the floor doing their stuff, and then, leave. And this is apparently not how they behaved before he came in. So he was going to, he had the idea, well, I'm going to just fire these people and promote some other people who will be loyal to me because I'm the one who promoted them. He told them he was going to fire them. And they went to their friend, the CEO that they had known for 30 years, and said, new kid wants to fire us. And the CEO called the new kid into his office and said, don't fire them. Only I fire them. I'm not firing them. They're good people. So what it boiled down to was he had this magic college degree, and they expected him to use his magic to make things better for the company. And they gave him a position high up in the company to go with it. But other than having paid for the education and now expecting him to use it, they gave him nothing. They gave him no power to change anything in the company, but they expected results. I bring this up, just a little bit of fair warning. Be careful what you're walking into.
In my case, I will help, when I go back, I will have a test, and then there are like 20 levels. If I pass this test, I will be in the 7th level.
Okay.
And to be a manager, at least I have to be like a 12 or 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
Good. So they're not expecting you, it's not a situation like this other guy.
Level,
Okay. Good. And have they done this to other people before you?
I actually have 2 friends who graduated from here. So, but they're not like in business school, they're in engineering.
Still, they've been doing this, they're still doing it. And clearly it works for them, they have a system, it's probably going to be okay. This is that when we started talking about this, This other guy, the company was trying for the first time, and I'm not sure they understood how to make it actually work out. I mean, for one thing, like they could have flown him back and had him work there in the summers as a junior level person, so that when he came back, he would have accumulated, the equivalent of several co-ops worth of experience with the company. So, when he walks in to try to manage people, he knows the people, he knows the company, he knows the work. They didn't think of that. In any case, yes. How do you come?
So I did go to the career fair, and I got an interview for tomorrow.
Okay.
It's for an aerospace company.
An aerospace company,
Yeah.
cool.
So I worked at United Technologies before,
Okay.
which was also an aerospace company, but this is a different one, and I can't really say the name of the companies.
Okay. Do they make spaceships?
They work for like military, commercial, aerospace.
Ah, okay, one of those companies. If you get the job, you probably still can't tell us who it is. Okay. That's good news. Kai?
I went to both days. On the first day, I met someone from our company, and we talked a lot, and she told me to come and see her at the career fair today. So I followed through and I did that, and she gave me the contact of someone that wasn't at the career fair and told me to get in touch with her and we can go stuff like that.
Now, one of the benefits of doing the first thing and then the second thing is that it's not a really complicated test, but there's a little bit of a test involved there. We meet, we talk, and then it's sort of like call me, come see me tomorrow. If you don't show up, we're done. But if you do show up, it's like, okay, you were serious. You weren't just like hanging out, anything better to do, you might have a little snack on the order over there standing next to me, so you acted like you were interested. You actually were interested. We don't know how interested, but you were at least interested enough to come out in the snow and hike over there to see her. Did you get her information as well?
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna make sure that you bring a loop?
Yep.
Okay. Tim?
I didn't go to the career fair. I did go to the networking night last night just to kind of get a feel for it because it was last year. I've gone to the career fair like every semester. I've been here in the senior now. And increasingly it's been mostly mechanical engineers and comp sci things. And plus a lot of the times with my supply chain management specialization, we're not really as known for that yet, so there's not as many companies with that, and there's not usually people they have there for that.
Just let me pause you for a second. I don't remember seeing if Toyota was on the list or not. Was Toyota there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you talk to Toyota?
I've talked to Toyota in the past. They don't usually have supply chain people there or anything like that, and they are one of those companies that's always like, okay, here's the pamphlet, go away.
Okay. Okay, I want to stay on this topic for just a second. How many people here are doing supply chain management? Okay. The reason I bring this up is because our dean apparently, I am told, not from her, but I'm told by other people, that she has contacts at Toyota who would be interested in people from RIT who do supply chain management. And I was told this a couple of years ago. I don't know if she still is in touch with these people or not. But do you hang out with the dean much? No. Anybody? She does like a lunch thing with students sometimes. Has anybody seen that? Like every semester she has lunch with a group of students, like once or twice a semester she does this?
Yeah, I think I've got an email about it.
Yeah. Okay, well, if you're a supply chain management person, maybe you should like ask Saeed to forward you the email and see if you can get on the invitation list and go and say, I'm interested in doing supply chain management. I hear you have connections at Toyota. Can you put me in touch with anybody there? If none of you guys are comfortable doing that, anybody comfortable doing that? No? Okay. You will?
I don't mind doing it.
Okay, go ahead. I was going to say, if you guys are not comfortable doing that, then email me a reminder to do this, and I will go bug the dean myself about it. But it'll probably work better for you, the student, if you're the one bugging her directly.
Okay.
One way or another. So, Saeed, can you forward her the invitation?
I'll try to find it.
Okay. Sorry, Tim, I interrupted you, though. Did you have more you want to say?
Oh, I was just also saying I'm also going right into grad school and have a couple of other offers that are open.
Okay. so you didn't really need it anyway. But I hear that Toyota can be a good place to work, so if we can open that door now that we have people. When I heard it, it was more of a, we don't have supply chain management here, but we can put that together. We have the expertise, we just don't actually have to put it all together. And one of the questions came up was, well, do we know anybody who knows anybody who actually wants to hire people for supply chain management? The answer was, yeah. Deneen has contacts that go back way back. She has lots of old friends at Toyota who would be interested in supply chain management people. So let's put that to the test. Okay, Brian.
Yeah, me and Jack went to the career fair. Like everyone said, it's pretty frustrating. There's not many companies there for finance majors. So we talked to a few companies. Pretty good, I guess. I'm not really super looking for a job because I plan on being back at 4+1.
Okay.
Immediately. Feel for it.
Have you applied into the 4+1 yet?
Yeah.
Okay. I was talking to the graduate programs coordinator earlier today about the grad school option, and I was basically trying to find out what's new and different since last semester, so I'm trying to not pass on old news. And one of the things that's new and different that I had not known is that the degree in data analytics has finally been state approved. That you send it to them, and then like anything from 12 to 24 months later, they send you back. It's approved, and they never tell you to change anything, but you have to wait for them to actually send you back. It finally came back, we're approved, and they have been accepting people and so forth. And one of the individual data reports suggested that it gave us a figure that was, I think, a six-figure figure to start. It's like 100 something thousand dollars a year for people working in big data analytics. And so if data crunching appeals to you and you've got the right background to get into that degree, it's new. We don't know what you've got. We have no track record on it yet, but the starting salaries really are 100,000 plus. Might be something to look into. Allison. Christian.
Allison's here.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Sorry. Go ahead. Did you go? Yeah. A positive experience at the career fair or the event last night if you went. Otherwise, you get to talk about the capstone.
I did get it. I actually volunteered for the career fair. It was nice to just help people set up and like give them like solutions to like problems they were having, like something that they should then like show us on my desk at the beginning, or like if they have problems with power or something like that. And I think somebody else said earlier too, like finance majors don't really have a lot of people there, but I could tell that people see me beforehand and give them a good impression, but I didn't think it was
You don't give it a
I think that it's the best for me. I think it's really like practice a little bit more on my what I wanted to say.
Okay. But the volunteering helped you?
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably advice that's coming too late for everybody else, but good idea thinking of it. Okay, Christian.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just looking twice now. For some reason, you've been sitting there the whole semester, and I keep looking for you over there, and I do not know why this happens, but I'll try to look to my left and sit in my back. James. Quinn.
So I went to the career fair today, and then one of the company I talked to, my friends once work there, and then we had a good conversation, and I said a thank you note to them. Hopefully I can get an interview.
Okay. Following the thank you note, that's a good move. Ryan. Brett. Matthew, Carey.
I did not go either because I was working for a company that's actually RPOs, but it's competitive. So it's kind of interesting.
Okay. Could you explain a little bit more about the company you work for, please? I'm a little bit confused about that.
Yeah, so it's a polymer injection molding company. So basically we make optics for, not like glasses or anything like that, but lenses that go into everything ranging from a medical device, camera that they insert into to look for things, to the optics that go into the nose of a missile that we're dropping, wherever. It's a lot more cost effective and durable than lighter than glass optics are. So it's a really big industry right now. That a lot of companies are switching a lot of their optical systems over from glass to plastics. The technology has evolved to the point where you can get just about as good of a optical quality out of plastic as you can out of glass. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. What is the name? Are you comfortable saying the name of the company?
Yeah, Simtech Optics.
Simtech Optics. See, Rochester, a lot of people don't know this, but Rochester is sort of an optics hub. There's a lot of optics companies in this town. So if you were one of the people who wants to stay in Rochester looking at the optics industry, would allow you to, because once you've learned a lot about some about optics, there's a lot of other companies you could also look at after the first one. Sydney, here. Reed.
I didn't attend either, just because it's kind of a weird position for me right now in entrepreneurship, where I'd be going to talk to these companies and they want to be like, you want to work for us? And I'd be like, not really, because I have my own thing going. But what I did do instead.
Can I pause you for a second?
Sure.
I've seen two entrepreneurs in your position go to the career fair just to kind of like check it out.
Right.
They both got offers that paid 6 figures to leave their own businesses and go work for a big company instead. So,
yeah,
I could wish you'd given me that excuse on Monday, so I could have told you this on Monday in response. But in any case, please carry on.
Yeah, so Tuesday night I got held up because the developer of the current game I cover for my channel was talking to me for about like literally the 2 hours in duration of that. He's trying to fly me out to San Francisco to cover the next event they're having for it. So that was more beneficial to me for like long-term stuff and making a relationship with that developer. And then today I've been working with my supplier on a new t-shirt campaign I've been developing. And I was able to go from like $10 cost price down to $6.90. So I'm trying to continue to increase my margins and that type of stuff. And he's actually waiting for me to call him after this class, so it's just been this back and forth. I just don't want to go to the career fair and be like, hey, I'm doing other things, but I'm here to talk to you just for fun.
All right.
I want to respect their time.
Okay, fair enough. But now you have to comment about the capstones.
Yeah, I do. Round 2 seemed like we're doing very well at keeping course. We were one of the teams that has a new product, and we're going to keep our other products to ourselves. And we're doing our long-term reasoning behind that, but it's good to see that what we're predicting and planning is working according to what we're trying to do.
Okay, good. Thank you. Saida.
So I did my career fair today, and I talked to like 5 companies, and one of them was follow up.
One of them asked you to follow up?
Yeah, Blue Cross and Blue Shield Blue Cross, and
Okay.
the Southwest guy told me like a really good advice. He told me to apply to all the internships. That's like, that's my interest. And he said not only focus on one, because sometimes that's what you're supposed to do, and whatever, match with. Whenever they inquire to something matching, he would call me and ask me which one you want to do.
I remember it wasn't the same company, but I remember last year, I think it was, maybe last semester, somebody had done that, and they got 2 offers from 2 different departments to be the intern there. And she told them both that she had another offer, and there was actually a little bit of competitive pursuit that happened. I'm not sure, I don't remember if she told them that the other offer was from a different department of the same company offering another internship. But in any case, she was able to play them off each other for a little bit, and then she accepted, I don't remember, I guess it doesn't really matter which one she accepted. She accepted the one that she liked better in the end. But both offers got a little bit better when she mentioned that there was another offer she was considering. So For more than one reason, yes, apply to multiple internships. Jack, I hear you went.
Yes, I did go to the career fair also, and I mean, I had an interview outside already, but I went just to do it, and I think though for me the big difference there is that, I mean, from what I've noticed, being a fourth year now, when I go, a lot of these companies, I guess they care a lot more about what you have to say, because when I was going, when I was, you know, a sophomore and a freshman and stuff, you go up there and hand them a resume and they ask you what year you are and they just instantly turn away and they're like, next. But it was different for me because these people were actually like engaging with me and telling me like to reach out to them and they were going to contact me and all this stuff. So I think that was a positive experience for me.
Okay, so you were looking at companies doing finance stuff and you found a bunch.
It was a little hard.
But you found some?
Yeah, we kind of just went up to really anybody and asked what they were there for. We were interviewing them first.
Fair enough, fair enough. You mentioned back at the beginning of the semester a connection in one particular bank, might have a position. Is that still on the table? Is that the outside thing you were talking about?
No, this is a different one actually. As far as that's concerned, I would look into it, but I guess it's going to depend on where I go with this interviewing process I'm under right now.
Okay. I will suggest that it's good to have multiple offers coming in around the same time.
Right.
Again, because it's easier for you to weigh them and say, well, maybe, you know, I'm thinking, do you think you can do something with this? If you really have other offers on the table. Corey.
Yeah, I went to the career fair today, so I have on my list about like 6 different companies to talk to. So I ended up doing more than that. And then more than that, I actually took a stab and went out and actually had a potential interview being set up for next week. So
Okay.
I'm actually pretty excited for that.
Yeah. Please keep us posted. Joshua.
So I went to the career fair today and talked to a bunch of smaller companies and most of the engineers. And one of them did say that they did have a branch out in the New York City area where I was hoping to go into, and said that I should apply online to that specific department to look into.
Good. Mateo.
I did not attend either yesterday or today. I already have a job lined up for October this year at Mendel Metzger in the college.
Yeah, you mentioned that at the beginning of the semester. I wasn't sure then if you had actually secured that job, but...
Yeah, I secured it, let's say 5 months ago when I went to the accounting career fair. I did the same strategy. I interviewed with many. I got many interviews and I leveraged many offers.
Good.
I used that to my advantage. And today I actually had an advisor appointment with my advisor. We talked about how to get to 150 credit hours to get the CPA license.
Yep.
And I'm going to do it all undergraduate level.
Ooh, I didn't know you could do that.
Because since I also work here full time right now, it's all free to me.
Right.
So free is good.
Yeah, free is good, I get that. So, but I did not know that there was an undergraduate way to get 150 hours. Is this something that's available to other undergraduate accountants?
Yeah, anybody can get their 150 credits undergraduate.
Nice.
Yeah, the MBA is nice, but I'm not going to pay for it.
So, do you take, are any of those hours actually graduate classes?
One class might be a grade level class, that's it.
Okay, so it's not really going to help you very far towards a graduate degree later if you want one, but it's still, it's free, or for people on financial aid, I think you get better financial aid packages at undergrad than grad level, so.
CPA is a CPA degree.
Yeah. I had, when New York State changed regulations, people were saying now everybody has to go to grad school, and I guess I just took their word for it, so thank you for
So a little update to that, I was planning on graduating this May.
Not so much anymore?
I'm probably going to extend it to next May, 2019, because I just declared I needed 7 more classes, so I'm taking a minor in management information systems.
Okay. Are the people at Mendel Metzger and Bar going to hold your job for you?
Well, that's a conversation I'm gonna have with them.
Okay, good luck. Ryan, Morgan.
The best experience I had at the career fair was not talking. So I used the app. I found a list of all the companies that sounded interesting that said they were looking for marketing, and I went to them, and most of them were not interested in marketing, which was a problem. But I started talking to companies that I was interested in that weren't looking for marketing, and talking to them and saying, "Do you have anything in sales? Do you have anything in marketing?" And sometimes I would get passed along, past the tech interviewers and say, yeah, because a lot of the recruiters work in the marketing department. So I secured an interview for tomorrow or Friday, off a company that I didn't even plan talking to.
Cool. Keep us posted. Okay. I have another decision due soon, so I'm going to try to give you some class time. But I also want to talk a little bit about this current handout, the handout 3. Let's do that first before we break for the group stuff. Look around, please. How many people here feel like there's going to be a little bit of trouble having a group meeting? How many people feel like you're going to be able to get past this, though? You're going to still be able to make some productive use of the time if I give you time. Will there be productive use of time if I take time for class, for your group stuff? Okay, the vast majority. If you're not able to do that, come see me and I'll do something useful for you. Okay, so really fast review. We begin with the definition. It includes things like the mission. And the question of whether there's strategic intent or not. So the mission, where you are right now, what you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to achieve it with. The vision is the big picture, where you want to be overall down the road. For a company, that could be a non-achievable thing. Like one that I heard for Coke was currently, sorry, let me back it up. The human beings consume 64 fluid ounces of liquid every day. Worldwide, currently, we provide 2 out of those 64 fluid ounces. We want the other 62. I like that. Now, I mean, professionally speaking, as a strategy guy, I like that. As a consumer, it scares me. But, you get up in the morning, you go down to work at Coke, you know what they're trying to do. They want the other 6, anything else that you drink. And this is part of the, part of how they do this is not persuading you to stop drinking whatever you drink right now. Nick, I'll pick on you for a sec. What are you drinking?
You want me to be honest?
Yes.
I have no idea.
That's less useful than I thought.
Some monster.
What's your normal drink right now? If you have a drink of anything you wanted, alcohol permitted in this hypothetical situation.
Mountain Dew.
What's that?
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew. Okay. So Mountain Dew. I don't remember who makes that. I don't think it's a Coke product. Pepsi. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So yeah. Actually, they might want to get you to switch from Mountain Dew to 7-Up or something, but they've got an equivalent for that. But if you'd said something like wine, Coke understands that people who drink wine are probably, some of them might drink a little bit more Coke or whatever, but there's always going to be a wine market. So because of their vision, they got into the wine market. Now, when they did this, they also figured, we know how to bottle beverages, we know how to ship beverages, we know how to get retailers to put our beverages on the shelves. We can do this. So they had a Coke-branded wine. Now, first of all, some people here probably just don't drink wine. But if you drink wine, who here is going to go like, oh, Coke, yeah, I'm going to get some of the Coca-Cola wine. Anybody going to go for the Coca-Cola wine? Maybe it's a gag?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was like. For seriously though, like you've got a nice date coming up, it's supposed to be a romantic evening, you got the bottle of wine, it's Coca-Cola wine, is that? No, not going. Okay, yeah. It didn't work. The second time, they kept their brand very far away from the alcohol company they bought. Coke has been exploring dairy beverages. Not so much milk as like milk that things have been done to.
They're really good too.
I was about to say mysterious things done by alien creatures or something. I don't know what they're doing to the milk, but okay, you try have some of those beverages and they're actually good.
Yeah,
So you're not drinking as much regular milk because you're drinking more of this stuff. Coke is winning, see?
Yeah.
But the way they diversify into other markets. They're not trying to get you to just drink their brown fizzy beverage. They will be happy to sell you whatever you want to drink as long as you're willing to pay them for it, and and there's enough in the market for it. They'll sell it to you. So water. When I was a kid, bottled water was not really a thing. Now, I know a lot of people who buy bottled water all the time. Coke wasn't. They're beating the tap. Anyway, vision, values, what you will and won't do. Some of that you can get right out of the vision. So, for example, Pepsi has experimented with buying fast food restaurants. They're not focused on just the beverage part. Coca-Cola never did that because if you can't drink it, we don't want to get involved. Follows from their vision. I mean, maybe there's something else that they could be selling that winds up with making you buy more of their beverage. They might think about it. But basically, they do the beverage thing. Vision, values, goals. Now, that's where it gets real. If you look at their Coke goals, they don't have like, okay, by 2022, we will have 3 out of those 64 fluid ounces, and by 2087, we'll have 8. It's not like that. They have more realistic goals, but they're still ambitious, and they're still being vigorous with it and so forth. The vision is a big picture. For an individual human being, it should still be some sort of a lofty, big stretch goal, but we expect that at some point you're going to retire or die or become unable to work for whatever reason. Finite period of time for a human would be okay, therefore something achievable. By the time I retire, I want to have done, don't know what. It would be different for every person. Then we get to the analysis. Now, part of the definition issue might be looking at whether you have strategic intent, which we've covered before. Very hard to achieve. We talked about how even in the United States Marine Corps, once you get down to the point of everybody actually agrees entirely with exactly how they're supposed to be doing their job, there's times when the Marines don't all actually agree that what they're doing is actually the best way to get the job done. They may have the rest of it, 90% of the way to having total strategic intent. And by my definition, that's about as good as it's probably going to get anywhere. But 100% strategic intent is very hard to achieve, even with just one person. It's doable, but hard. After that, you get to external analysis, which we've talked about. Michael Porter's 5 forces, past analysis. Now we're talking about the internal analysis. So, outside stuff that can help you, outside stuff that's going to be a problem you need to deal with. Now we're looking at the internal side. Now all that data, all those data reports, I do the data report 1 grades posted now. I'm still working on the other assignments. All that stuff, that's external data. Data that you can crunch with your external analysis. You can look at that data, look at those data, look at that information, and draw some conclusions about what you need to be paying attention to, what you need to be taking advantage of, what you need to be finding some way to deal with in one way, shape, or form. So, Mateo, one of your external constraints, an obstacle for you getting to CPA, was the 150-hour minimum requirement. New York State requirement. That's not an RIT rule. That's not the accounting profession. That's an New York State requirement. Hard to get past that. I mean, it's hard to get past that without actually having 150 hours. If you actually want to, if you want to be a CPA, the first 3 or 4 ways of getting past that without having 150 hours are all illegal, and I can't think of anything else at all. So, but you've got this obstacle, and you found a way, which I'm sure other people have done, but I was not aware of before. So it's a way that I didn't know about to get past this 150-hour minimum issue. So you don't just identify a problem. You should also be thinking, well, what can I do about this problem? And I remember in your data report, one of the things you looked at was, you mentioned that about the, on the website, the RIT, the Saunders websites, like, you mentioned about the success rate for the test. But you also said that there was some stuff in there about the 150 hours and so forth. And I don't know, did you actually get the information about how to finish that as an undergrad off the website, or did you go talk to somebody? Did the website help you figure out the solution to the 150-hour problem?
It is, but I did more extensive research and found out that there's many ways you can get there.
Okay. So other than doing it as an undergraduate or going for an MBA or an MBA accounting or an MS accounting, is there another path? I'll ask Mateo, but I'll go to say next. Go ahead.
As far as I'm aware, just the MBA path or all undergraduate.
Okay. All right. So it's either grad school or all undergraduate, or say you were going to say?
Yeah. I mean, technically, you're allowed to take 12 to 18 credits each semester. So if you take 18 credits each semester for 4 years, it's going to be like 145, 146, and then you need one more summer. And then you have 150 credits.
18 times 8, right?
Yes.
So that should be, yeah, as you said, 144. Okay. So then with 6 more hours,
basically.
Why couldn't New York State have just said 144? Okay. In any case, on the internal side, you are shining the spotlight on yourself, and this can be hard to do. You may ask other people to help you. What you write down is your own work, but you can talk to other people that you know and ask them to shine a spotlight back on you. And some people, when you get, if you ask somebody else and talk to you about your strengths and weaknesses, some people have the sort of personality where they object to all the weaknesses. And some people have the sort of personality where they object to all the strengths. And I don't, I'm not going to try to predict who has which sort of personality. And some people will just say thank you and they'll take it all down. But if you don't want to talk to a friend or somebody you know, or a mentor if you've got one, you can also do some of these analyses. So the resources, capabilities, core competency one. Well, some of the stuff I have on the handout. Resources are things you have. I mean, there's a more complicated formal definition, but that's what it boils down to. It's the stuff you have. But this does not mean like coffee cup. I have a coffee cup. I don't want to hear about your coffee cup, okay? Even if whether you have one where you have 10, 0, I don't care. I'm talking about resources that are relevant, and that includes stuff that you have in your head. You have some very expensive knowledge resources. You just spent close to 4 years, 5 years, however many years. You just spent a number of years acquiring a bunch of valuable knowledge resources. So your education, your training, your co-op experience, those are resources that you have. Not necessarily capabilities, resources. The capabilities are things you can do with the stuff that you have. So if I have working for me 100 engineers, I have as a resource a lot of engineering knowledge. If I'm making those engineers do data entry, I am not taking advantage of the fact that those engineers could be inventing some really cool stuff that I could sell to customers and make my company lots of money. Disturbingly, many companies use their resources like that. So, and individuals may also. So, you start by listing off resources, and again, I don't want to hear about resources like I have a coffee cup, I have some nice shoes. Where's the guy with the $500 boots we need to make fun of? What I want is resources that are that are relevant to your career. You can also talk about negative resources. I do not have such and such, which I need. Keep picking on Mateo a little bit, talk about how Mateo does not have his 150 hours, and that's a problem for him. That's a resource he's currently lacking. And he needs to solve that resource problem. And he has identified a path of doing that. Notice that if we were doing the SWOT analysis, which is actually on deck for next week, the weakness of I only have however many hours you currently have, 129, so you're getting pretty close. You're 21 hours short. I have 129 hours, only 129 out of the 150 I need. New York State requirement is I need 150 hours. Without that, I can't get a job in the CPA. You would pass the test. We would cross-reference and say this weakness plus this threat is a major problem that needs to be solved. And the way we're going to solve it is he's already got a solution. So, there you go. You use the capability, you build capabilities. You put together resources in a way that allow you to get things done that are going to give you a competitive advantage. So the fact that you are a major in whatever you're majoring in by itself is not going to get you a job. All those skills you've got probably not going to get you the job unless you combine them with other things. Applying for jobs. Applying successfully for jobs. Some people mention that they're not very good with the handshake or some of these other websites, and a few people are like, really? I've never heard of that website. Other people are like, yeah, I use this website all the time. So there's a varying degree of sophistication and skill in terms of how much experience you guys have applying for jobs. That part of it is important. Additional resource, and if you evaluate yourself objectively, you may find in many cases that your knowledge of that particular resource and ability to apply for jobs is not as strong as it could be. There's been a lot of advice going by about how to make yourself stronger on it. So, in the resource capability core competency analysis, you look for your resources, including resources that if you had them, you could build stronger core competencies. You look for the core competencies you have, you look for core competencies that you need that maybe you could build if you backtracked over and had that resource that's missing from that situation. And then you test the competencies to see if they're core competencies. And to do that, you need to see if they're valuable. That's the V. Rare, costly to imitate, and non-substitutable. Now, this is the biggest mistake people make when they do this analysis. Is they get through the whole resources thing, they identify the resources they have, they identify resources that maybe it's not really a very strong resource. It should be my ability to apply for jobs, for example, could be stronger or whatever. They get through all that, and then they get to some competencies. And they say, well, this competency is valuable, this one is rare, this one's costly to imitate, this one's non-substitutable, so I'm all over this. No. Let's talk about air. Okay? Do you value air? Breathable air. Is anybody here not valuable with breathable air? Is anybody like, I could take it or leave it, I go for days at a time without breathing? Anybody? No? Okay. All right, so we've established we all value air. It's valuable. Great. So if I can come up with something else that's rare, like at one point they did trading cards for professors at RIT. I'm serious, they did.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And I was like, seriously, you're doing that? And they're like, yeah, you want some for you? And it's like, okay, sure. Like, okay, no, I don't pay, it's free. Yeah, okay, give me some. So I got like 15 trading cards for me. And as far as I know, these are the only 15 trading cards in existence. I traded like 6 of them away, I still have 9. These are rare. Are they valuable? I don't think so. But I've got them. So I've got air, I've got my trading cards with my face on them. Costly to imitate. I'm going to go to the guy I think can guess. How costly would it be to imitate those trading cards? Could you put together like trading cards already in this class if I gave you, how much money would I have to give you? Assuming you're not making a profit.
Yeah, printing one copy of like 30 cards.
30 different cards.
Might be like $20.
Okay, so basically it's not costly to imitate, it's not valuable, that one's no good for that. Costly to imitate. Well, you get can somebody come up with something that they have that'll be expensive to imitate? Ideally, that's not valuable, rare, or non-substitutable. Something you have that'll be hard to imitate. It'll cost money to imitate. Okay, go ahead.
Custom dice.
Custom dice. Yeah, okay. Do you have some?
So I've bought them, but For another company to imitate them would be incredibly costly, because they need to redesign, they need to design the molds, like
Okay.
in reverse.
Okay, and you have some?
Yes.
Okay, not that you sell them, but you own some. Okay, so he's got the dice. They're custom dice. They're not particularly valuable to the rest of us, at least. I'm assuming this company made them for other people as well, so not very, but they're custom, cost imitate, non-substitutable. Actually, I'm going to take air again. Just drop that down here too, okay? It's two of them, right? It's non-substitutable and it's valuable. I actually read a story about how there's this liquid that you can put into the lungs of people, like the Navy divers do put this liquid and they breathe the liquid instead of, it's like really painful apparently when you're standing there, you have to force yourself to actually breathe the liquid in, but it's really high in oxygen, and because it's a liquid, you can dive to great depths without your lungs getting crushed by the pressure. Yeah, that look on your face, that was my look too. So technically maybe there's a substitute, except I don't really think so. Can you imagine walking around on the surface with that stuff in your lungs? You'd be like, hi! It's not going to work. So basically air, non-substitutable and valuable. Professor Hall trading cards are rare. And Ryan's dice are cost imitate. Have I got a winner here? No. I have a really bizarre hodgepodge. That's what you want to avoid. You want to come back in and say, I've got this, I've combined these resources, here's what I can do with these resources, and it is valuable. It doesn't have to be valuable to everybody. It has to be valuable to the employers that you're trying to hire you. Or, if you're a company, it has to be valuable to the customers. In the capstone game, you put together attributes for your products in the hopes that what you wind up putting together is valuable to customers. Read Jada comment.
I was thinking that what fits all these is the ISP networks. Like, they're valuable, rare, you're not going to redo what, you can't buy the infrastructure for FiOS or the cables that they're doing. There's no real good geographical substitutes for them. We consider it very valuable to have access to the cable and the Wi-Fi, and it's rare because it costs so much.
Sure. Somebody like Comcast is looking at that and the demise of net neutrality, and they are already building into their infrastructure the multi-tiered system that they can take advantage of because effectively they have a monopoly.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a good example. But also, if you are the only one that has the product in one segment that is precisely matching what the customer wants, you've got valuable, you've got rare, you've got costly imitate. It's not necessarily non-substitutable because in the next round, your competition, if adjusted, spent the money to adjust, which kind of works like that in real life with real companies as well. You have a unique product. How long are you going to stay unique before the competition comes after you? Well, once they notice you've got a unique product the customers want, they're going to try to find a way. Now, you can protect yourself with patents and so forth, but typically any given advantage will go over. Okay, so if you have stuff that meets all four of those, then it's definitely a major strength and something you can play off. If it doesn't have all of them, for example, it's got the first two but not the last two, this is what we call a temporary competitive advantage. Milk it while you can, protect it if you can, but you got to figure that sooner or later it's going to go away. You should be working on your next one. So some of the companies are coming out with new products. Maybe it's because they figure it's, you already have products in all five industries, so why would another one? Because maybe one of the ones you've already got in one of your industries needs to be replaced with something that gives it more of a competitive edge. Comment?
Just a question about costly, the definition of being costly to imitate. So would intellectual property be considered costly to imitate because you could do it and might get away with it, or they might sue you?
Depends. Like in the pharmaceutical industry, you patent drug X. I take drug X apart, examine exactly how it works, and I come up with drug X prime, and I patent that, and the patent office says, yeah, it's a totally different drug, and then I use it to go after your market. And this is normal in the pharmaceutical industry. Of course, doing what I just described to get to drug X prime is super expensive in its own right, but compared to what you spend at drug X, I know something like X exists, and I know X works and how it works and so forth, and the path is easier, so it's much less expensive for me than it was for you who pioneered it in the first place. Which makes the people who pioneered the new drugs really annoyed when the generic ones come out a couple years later. That's how the generic ones are afforded to. That's how it is. The name brand one is so much more expensive. Part of it is that they won't profit, but part of it is also because the first one was more expensive than all the other ones. But yeah, legal issues could be part of it. It's cost limited because you've got some patent defenses. Somebody else, I think it was Nick, had a hand up?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about like, it depends on the situation, right? Because like Tesla, you can file to, they will give you their patents for electric cars. Like they have a very unique company mission and vision where they want to help change the world. Or like all you have to do is submit a couple files, they'll give you their IP for some of their electric vehicles.
Sure, and HP at one point said, anybody who wants to make printers just like the ones we make, put their own logos on it and whatever, that's fine. Here are all the specs, go to it. Now HP did that because making printers doesn't really make much money, but selling the ink cartridges, that's where it's at. So they didn't give you permission to make the ink cartridges or the intellectual property for that. So there's all these people out there making printers, making a 1, 2, 3% profit, and then you have to buy HP ink for those printers, and that's where they're making lots of money. It's just like, okay, we're just expanding the market for our printer ink, which is for all the money. That doesn't work quite so well now. They're generic inks for HP printers, but you know, if you've ever seen the thing like, do not use off-brand ink, it might not work as well. Warnings on here. Yeah. Anyway, so as you do it for a company, as you do it for an individual, whatever, resources, stuff you have, or stuff you could have, and maybe shouldn't have. Capabilities, stuff you can do with the stuff you have. Are these capabilities core competencies? Do they fit all 4 of these? If they don't fit all 4, but they're at least valuable and rare, you've probably got a strength, just don't count it to last. If you can do something like that capability, harder to imitate or substitute for. If you've got 3 out of 4, including, if you've got 3 out of 4, but this is the last 3, actually, George Washington Carver had that problem. If you don't recognize the name, George Washington Carver was a guy, he's like, I've got all these people I want to help out. They're growing peanuts and there's not much of a market for them. So he set out to invent a lot of different things that people that use peanuts that people might want. And one of them was peanut butter, which I personally think is, I really like peanut butter. So I'm really glad he came up with this idea. But the price of peanuts went up because all these people were trying to make, they wanted peanut butter, so companies were making peanut butter, so they're buying more peanuts. So the peanut farmers he was trying to help benefited from this invention. So he basically is like, peanuts are kind of rare, I'm not sure what you could do to, I guess, not as almond butter and stuff. But in any case, he did some stuff to make what he had valuable when it wasn't to start with. So you could do that, or you could try again with something else and start with something that's valuable. Again, on the individual scale, your education is a valuable thing just to start with, but you're going to need to add some other stuff on it if you really want to get the jobs and be successful in your careers. I'm going to stop there because I want to give you guys at least a little bit of time with your group, so go to a group now, please. If you have no group to go to, come to me instead. It's 10 minutes, come on, 10 minutes is not nothing.
That's not what we need, because John apparently is in the channel, so he's driving.